Millions of Americans have stopped eating at IHOP, not because they found a better breakfast spot, not because the prices went up, but because they discovered something that made them feel lied to, manipulated, and taken advantage of. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't exaggeration. This is a legitimate boycott movement that has exploded across social media, with customers sharing stories, exposing practices, and calling out one of America's most recognizable restaurant chains. So, what exactly did IHOP do? Why are people so angry that they're actively organizing to hurt the company's bottom line? And most importantly, is what they're accused of actually true? The frozen secret. IHOP loves to sell the image of home-style cooking, but behind the kitchen doors, the reality is far different. Former employees have admitted that many of the pancakes, omelets, and even scrambled eggs are not made from fresh cracked shells. Instead, they come in liquid cartons or frozen mixes that are poured onto the grill. Pancakes can be pre-mixed, frozen, and reheated. Omelets are made from a bag of pre-blended eggs with preservatives, not the fluffy farm-fresh eggs that the commercials promise. One employee even joked that the microwave is as important in the kitchen as the griddle. For seniors who remember the taste of real homemade breakfasts, this is not only a disappointment, it is a warning. Because food that is frozen and reheated loses both nutrition and flavor, and yet IHOP charges you the same price as if it were fresh. The syrup scam. You sit down and the waiter proudly places 4 colorful bottles of syrup on the table. Blueberry, strawberry, old-fashioned, and of course butter pecan. It looks generous, it feels fun, and it makes you believe that IHOP is spoiling you with choice. But here's the dirty truth. None of those syrups are real maple syrup. They are almost entirely made of high-fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, and chemical flavorings. That golden brown liquid you pour over your pancakes is not a natural product from a maple tree. It is a laboratory recipe designed to taste like it. Real maple syrup costs money, and IHOP is not going to give that away when they can hand you a cheap bottle of sugar syrup for pennies. For seniors who are watching their blood sugar, this is a serious trap. What looks like an innocent drizzle can spike glucose levels, cause energy crashes, and contribute to diabetes risks. The butter trick. Now take a closer look at that little scoop of melting butter sitting on top of the pancake stack. It looks rich, creamy, and natural, but IHOP does not serve real butter on its pancakes. What you are actually getting is a margarine-based whipped topping filled with oils and emulsifiers. It is designed to melt quickly and look appealing, but it does not have the same nutritional value or taste as real butter. One former cook explained it like this: "We call it butter, but it is basically margarine with air whipped into it." For seniors concerned with heart health, this switch matters. Real butter in moderation has different health effects than processed margarine blends, which often contain trans fats linked to cardiovascular disease. The sodium bomb breakfast. Here is where things get dangerous. Many IHOP breakfasts contain more sodium than an entire day's recommended allowance, and seniors are especially vulnerable to this. A single omelet with sides can pack more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium, and the recommended daily limit for older adults is closer to 1,500 milligrams. Add bacon, sausage, and hash browns, and suddenly you are at double the healthy level before lunchtime. High sodium raises blood pressure, strains the kidneys, and increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. Imagine walking into IHOP thinking you are treating yourself to a simple breakfast, and instead you are loading your body with the salt equivalent of 3 fast food meals. It is not just indulgent, it is reckless marketing to a population that often has strict medical diets. The illusion of luxury brands. Sometimes IHOP menus even drop familiar brand names like Hershey's chocolate chip pancakes or Oreo milkshakes. It makes the food feel special, as if you are getting the best of both worlds. But the reality is that most of these items are mass-produced ingredients shipped in bulk, slapped with a famous logo, and sold to you at a premium price. The Hershey's chips are not the same quality you would buy in a store. The Oreo milkshake is a sugar bomb designed to get kids hooked. Seniors looking for comfort food are instead being handed calorie-loaded gimmicks that could easily tip them into dangerous health territory. The receipt of proof. This is not just speculation. Viral videos have shown IHOP workers cutting open frozen bags of pancake batter. Health forums are filled with customers who say the eggs tasted powdered or the pancakes felt rubbery, as if they were microwaved. A former employee even admitted online that the omelets often come out watery because the mix is frozen and then thawed too quickly. Court cases have challenged misleading menu descriptions, especially when words like fresh and real are used to describe products that are anything but. For seniors, the betrayal is even sharper. You have worked hard your entire life, and when you spend money on a breakfast chain that promises home-style comfort, you should not have to worry about hidden syrups, fake butter, or frozen shortcuts. Instead, IHOP has turned its kitchen into a factory line designed to cut costs at the expense of your health. And the more you learn, the more you realize that what you see on the plate is only half the story. Because if you thought the problem was only with the food, wait until you hear what is happening behind those kitchen doors. Inspectors have found shocking things. Employees have whispered about disgusting shortcuts. Customers have snapped photos that went viral for all the wrong reasons. The story shifts from frozen and fake food to something even more disturbing. And it is not about taste anymore. It is about safety. Health code violations. One inspection report revealed that IHOP was caught storing raw meat directly beside containers of pancake batter. Imagine that for a moment. You walk in expecting a plate of fluffy pancakes, but behind the doors the same refrigerator is housing dripping chicken next to the very mix that will be poured on your griddle. Cross-contamination is one of the leading causes of foodborne illness, and for seniors, food poisoning can be deadly. Health records show repeat violations at multiple locations across the United States, including unsafe refrigeration temperatures, improper food storage, and pests in dry storage areas. In one shocking case, inspectors discovered rodent droppings under a pancake griddle. Customers sitting in the dining room had no idea that the meal they were eating came from a kitchen with such appalling conditions. Eggs and salmonella risk. Another serious problem involves eggs. While some items come from frozen or pre-mixed cartons, fresh eggs are still cracked in many locations. But the way they are handled has raised serious concerns. Inspectors have found open containers of cracked eggs sitting at room temperature for hours. This creates a breeding ground for salmonella. For a senior with a weakened immune system, salmonella is not just an unpleasant stomach ache. It can lead to hospitalization, severe dehydration, or worse. A former employee wrote online that during busy breakfast rushes, eggs were cracked in large batches and left uncovered beside the grill so cooks could work faster. This shortcut might save a few seconds in the kitchen, but it puts customers at serious risk. Dirty dishware and syrup bottles. Then there are the dishes and condiments themselves. Customers have complained for years about sticky syrup bottles that feel like they have not been cleaned in weeks. In some restaurants, the same bottles are refilled over and over again instead of replaced. This means bacteria can build up on the nozzles, spreading germs from table to table. Plates and utensils have also come under fire. Photos online show lipstick stains left on coffee mugs, dried food on forks, and even hair baked into pancakes. When inspectors visited one location in Florida, they cited the restaurant for using dishwashers that failed to reach safe sanitizing temperatures. Imagine trusting that your plate is clean, only to discover it has been rinsed with lukewarm water that never killed the bacteria. Employee shortcuts. Workers themselves often admit that shortcuts become routine. During busy mornings, employees have been caught reusing utensils for raw and cooked food, failing to change gloves, and wiping down counters with dirty rags. One former server explained that when the kitchen got slammed, it was easier to keep using the same gloves for multiple tasks instead of constantly switching. That meant the same pair of gloves that touched raw sausage might also grab your toast or pancakes. Other employees admitted that syrup bottles were sometimes wiped down with the same cloth used to clean tables, spreading germs rather than removing them. Anecdotes and proof. Customers have provided their own disturbing evidence. Viral photos show fruit bowls served with moldy strawberries, whipped cream canisters covered in grime, and even insects crawling near syrup stations. In one lawsuit filed in Texas, a woman claimed she became violently ill after eating undercooked eggs at IHOP, which she said had been pulled from a container left sitting out too long. In online forums, former employees tell stories of overnight storage tricks, like leaving pancake batter in buckets at room temperature to be used again in the morning. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a pattern where food safety is sacrificed for speed and profit. The public health hazard. For seniors, the risk is magnified. A younger person might recover from a mild case of food poisoning in a day or two, but an older adult with a heart condition, weakened immunity, or kidney problems could face hospitalization or lasting damage. Dirty kitchens are not just gross, they are dangerous. Think about the last time you reached for an IHOP menu, picked up a sticky syrup bottle, or ate fruit that looked too shiny to be real. The danger was invisible, but it was there. The hidden reality. IHOP wants to present itself as a cheerful, family-friendly place where every breakfast is safe and consistent. But the hidden reality behind those swinging kitchen doors tells a darker story. When inspectors have to warn managers about pests, when employees confess to cutting corners, and when customers snap photos of mold, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. This is not just sloppy service, it is systemic neglect of health standards that protect diners, especially the most vulnerable ones. The shift in perspective. So the image of IHOP has now shifted completely. What started as pancakes and syrup in a cozy booth has been revealed as a place where shortcuts, filth, and carelessness thrive. The family breakfast dream dissolves into a public health nightmare. And here's the part that should make every senior stop in their tracks. The risks inside the kitchen are not the only danger, because even if you manage to dodge salmonella, avoid dirty utensils, and pray that your plate was properly cleaned, there is another trap waiting at the front of the house. The money trap ahead. IHOP markets itself as a place of value, a restaurant where you can take your grandchildren for pancakes without breaking the bank. But the closer you look at the receipt, the more you realize that the financial game is just as twisted as the kitchen practices. Hidden fees, overpriced drinks, and sneaky portion tricks turn what looks like a cheap breakfast into a very expensive scam. And if you thought paying for frozen food and risking your health was bad enough, just wait until you see how IHOP squeezes every last dollar out of seniors on fixed incomes. Ingredient cost versus menu price. That pancake combo you see on the menu for $9.99 might look like a bargain, but the truth is far more insulting. Industry insiders estimate that the cost of ingredients for that plate is less than $2. The pancakes are made from bulk pre-mixed batter, the eggs come from a liquid carton, and the sausage patties are the cheapest frozen kind bought by the case. Yet IHOP charges you nearly 5 times what it costs them to make it. This is not about fair profit. This is about exploiting the illusion of value. Seniors on fixed incomes are paying for marketing and branding, not for food that deserves the price tag. When you realize that you could cook the exact same plate at home for a fraction of the cost, the shine of that menu starts to wear off quickly. Senior discounts bait. IHOP loves to promote its senior menu, offering smaller portions at what seems like a friendlier price. But here is the catch. Those so-called discounts are often offset by higher costs elsewhere. The smaller portions may save $1 or $2, but the drinks, sides, and add-ons are where IHOP makes its money back. That coffee that costs IHOP pennies to brew is sold for nearly $3. A side of toast or fruit can run up the bill faster than you expect. Seniors are lured in with the promise of a deal, but when the receipt arrives, the so-called discount has disappeared. One diner even shared how her senior menu breakfast cost more than her husband's full portion combo once drinks and sides were added. It is not a discount. It is a clever trick to keep you ordering while making you feel like you are saving. Refill ripoffs. Now let us talk about drinks. IHOP charges premium prices for beverages that cost them almost nothing. Coffee is one of the biggest profit makers in the restaurant industry, and IHOP is no exception. A pot of coffee costs a restaurant less than $1 to brew, but customers are charged $3 to $4 per cup. Even worse is the orange juice, which in many locations costs more than an entire plate of pancakes at a local diner. It comes from concentrate, not freshly squeezed oranges, yet seniors are asked to pay top dollar. Think about it. You are paying restaurant prices for grocery store quality drinks that could be bought for pennies at home. Portion inflation. IHOP also uses oversized portions as a marketing trick. By giving you massive stacks of pancakes and heaping sides of bacon or hash browns, they make you believe you are getting incredible value. But here is the problem. Those oversized meals are packed with sugar, sodium, and fat that can do real harm to seniors' health. A stack of double chocolate pancakes with whipped topping and syrup can contain more than 1,200 calories in one sitting. Add bacon, eggs, and a drink, and you are easily past 2,000 calories before noon. That is more than most seniors should eat in an entire day. What feels like a generous portion is actually a health trap disguised as value. Instead of getting more for your money, you are paying for long-term damage to your body. Better alternatives. So what is the smarter choice? Local diners and cafes often use fresher ingredients, offer fairer prices, and maintain higher standards because their reputation depends on it. Even a simple homemade breakfast can beat IHOP on every level. A carton of real eggs, a bag of pancake mix, and a bottle of genuine maple syrup can give you multiple meals at home for less than the price of one IHOP combo. For seniors, cooking at home not only saves money, but also gives control over portion sizes, sodium levels, and sugar content. You know exactly what is going into your body. IHOP counts on you believing that dining out is easier and cheaper, but the math proves otherwise. The bigger picture? IHOP markets itself as a family value chain, but the evidence tells a different story. The food is often frozen and processed. The kitchens have been caught in health code violations, and the prices are carefully designed to look affordable while quietly draining your wallet. Seniors are especially targeted because IHOP knows they want comfort, routine, and a place to take the grandchildren. But comfort is not what is really being served. What is being served is an illusion. The illusion of value, the illusion of generosity, and the illusion of safety. The final blow. The most painful part is realizing that this illusion has worked for decades. IHOP has built its brand on the smiling image of pancakes and syrup while hiding the shortcuts, the risks, and the inflated receipts. Seniors deserve better. You have worked too long and too hard to settle for fake butter, chemical syrups, dirty kitchens, and overpriced coffee. And yet IHOP continues to thrive because too many customers simply accept what they are served. Once you pull back the curtain, you see the truth. IHOP is not about value. It is about convincing you that you got one. The takeaway. The next time you consider walking into an IHOP, remember the frozen pancakes, the sticky syrup bottles, the overpriced coffee, and the sodium-packed plates that put your health at risk. Ask yourself if it is worth it. Because the greatest savings you will ever make is not from a senior discount or a coupon. It is from choosing not to spend your money on food that endangers your health and insults your intelligence. IHOP thrives on illusions, but you do not have to be fooled. There are better choices, safer breakfasts, and more honest restaurants, and most of them are closer to home than you think. The real win is not in stacking pancakes. It is in stacking the dollars you save and the years of health you protect by avoiding traps like this. So now the question is yours. Which of these IHOP secrets shocked you the most? Was it the frozen shortcuts, the dirty kitchens, or the inflated menu prices? Share your thoughts in the comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe to The Hidden Menu so you never miss the next food secret.
And remember, the truth is not always on the menu.